Everyone online has a new way to heal your gut. Cleanses, collagen, powders, but here's what they get wrong. Leaky gut isn't something you fix. It's something that your body does when it's under stress. When you can actually see what's causing the barrier to break down, the real story looks nothing like what wellness influencers are selling on TikTok. I'm Dr. Kenny, root cause health detective and IFM certified functional medicine practitioner, and I decode exactly these root cause issues. In the next few minutes, I'll share with you 5 common leaky gut treatments that don't hold up in the research and what actually helps your gut barrier restore and rebuild. If you're tired of the wellness noise out there and just want what works, share it or tap the like button and help others cut through the hype. All right, so before we dive into the myths, we need to understand what the gut barrier actually is and why it becomes permeable in the first place. Once you see the mechanism, the noise becomes a lot easier to ignore. Think of your gut lining as a screen door. It lets nutrients in and keeps larger particles where they belong inside the gut. When the mesh loosens or there's holes, what researchers call increased intestinal permeability, small fragments from food or microbes can slip through and your immune system reacts. But the part that oversimplified marketing language and influencer language misses is that leaky gut itself is not a disease, it's a response. Stress chemistry, certain medications, infections, alcohol, processed food, all of these things send signals to loosen those tight junctions that are responsible for the immune integrity in the gut. In fact, research shows that psychological stress activates mast cells, so understand that your gut literally responds to your stress load, whether you perceive it or not just your food choices. So when we understand the actual why, the target isn't then to fix a leak, the target is addressing, well, what's stretching out the screen door to begin with? And that's where we get the myths to start unraveling. And if you want to see some of the research that I used for this video, check out the free research summary. It's in the pinned comment and the description below. Easy to digest and some really great takeaways. So let's use a magnifying glass and look at myth number 1, detox cleanses healing leaky gut. You've probably heard this marketing language stated 17 different ways. Doing a 3-day juice cleanse, for instance, will flush out toxins and reset your gut lining. But the research shows that your gut doesn't need the flushing, it needs nutrients to heal, it needs a diverse microbial community in the gut microbiome, and it needs a regulated immune response. Cleanses don't actually address those directly. In fact, aggressive detox protocols can strip the mucus layer and destabilize your absorption and trigger stress chemistry in the gut itself. And research on diet and gut permeability made something very clear, that cleanses don't play a therapeutic role in repairing the gut barrier, while whole foods and fiber consistently support it, especially with a basis in protein. Your detox organs, the liver, the kidneys, the gut, the skin, they're working around the clock without needing a juice subscription ultimately, so be careful with the wellness noise. I always have a red flag response when I hear the words cleanse or detox used in marketing language. It's not that there aren't good products out there, but it is marketing language at the end of the day. And interestingly, patients of mine who come in doing regular detox cleanses often show specific patterns on their microbiome labs that we run, and that's decreased microbiome diversity and increased and oftentimes stress system dysregulation. Maybe not a cause and effect, but something I do see regularly. And if you appreciate cutting through the wellness noise with real research like this, go ahead and hit subscribe. I put regular content out like this, and I'd love to hear from you if there's specific things you'd like to see. And after the detoxes and the cleanses, this brings us to another food myth that keeps resurfacing. I've seen several influencers talking about this one. Myth number 2 is just eat more applesauce, it heals the gut. And this myth usually comes with some dramatic claims, like a spoonful of applesauce can lower gut toxins and decrease it by X%. Here's the truth behind the myth. Pectin in apples are one of the fibers or prebiotics are helpful for bacteria, and fiber can help to support the microbial community. There's no human studies that show applesauce alone fixes permeability or gut toxins. I've seen a particular study cited in rodents, but it's not the same. So the reality is apples can be comfort food for your microbes. but they're not the same as a concentrated form of medicine in the jar. What is supported is getting fiber from a diverse variety of plants. Diversity beats single food heroics anytime, and in the marketing language of superfoods, for instance, this is a trap that is all too common. So speaking of things that we do wish were true, let's talk about wine. Myth number 3 is that red wine repairs your gut barrier. And this one sounds nice, but context is everything. Polyphenols are a category of antioxidants, meaning they combat oxidative stress or cellular aging and stress on the body. And there is research that shows that polyphenols are helpful, but here's the catch. Alcohol, even in small amounts, increases intestinal permeability. Research shows that alcohol disrupts the tight junctions and kicks off inflammation that overrides any antioxidant benefits from the polyphenols in wine. So if you're looking for food-forward polyphenol sources, start with your berries or green tea, dark chocolate. Those will give you the food level benefits without the barrier damage. And perhaps an even deeper reality check is that to get the amount of resveratrol that is found in a typical supplement that's a therapeutic level, you would need to drink hundreds, even thousands of glasses of wine, depending on the type of wine. So therapeutic dosing here is everything, and it just doesn't offset the benefits. So the benefits of the polyphenol content in wine are almost negligible. And though research is designed many different ways to tell you different things, there is no amount of alcohol that is technically considered safe. Now let's move on to a myth that can really create a dent in your wallet. Myth number 4 is that you can test for leaky gut as a diagnosis. I see this quite frequently, and this discussion does deserve some nuance. Tests for leaky gut that are marketed can cost hundreds of dollars. But the truth is that there is not a technical diagnosis for leaky gut, and there's no clinically validated test or diagnostic tool for this functional situation. Common markers like zonulin, the results are inconsistent, and some fail to measure zonulin at all, whether it's in the stool or in the blood. I very rarely run these markers because they're not necessarily going to change the why the leaky gut is happening in the first place, because remember, permeability is the downstream effect, not the disease pattern itself. The inflammation is the problem, the permeability is the way the gut adapts. So the big takeaway here is don't chase the leak, find what's causing that pressure on the system. And the final myth is this idea that you have a gut type. I've seen this in several places too. You've probably seen the charts. You have a candida type or a bacterial type or a yeast type, each with their own protocol that's just black and white copy and pasted to the masses. The reality is your microbiome is changing daily, even hourly, depending on what you ate, how you slept, your stress load at any given time, the medications you're on, your hormones, even the seasons. Your gut doesn't have a personality type, it does have patterns, and patterns can be influenced. This is why personalized care matters more than any kind of prepackaged or neatly wrapped labels. So if these 5 myths don't really move the needle, what actually does? Here's the model that I use for patients when we're supporting their gut barrier without chasing these quick fixes and these black and white protocols. First is a focus on stress, rhythm, and resilience. Research shows that mast cell activation during stress loosens those tight junctions, so until your nervous system feels safe, supplements aren't going to heal the gut that's causing the leak. This starts with consistent sleep times and sleep quality, vagal tone support. These become foundational. Next is a focus on the gut microbiome. We want to support an environment where helpful bacteria want to live, and that comes from a diversity of plant fibers, fermented foods in the diet if you can tolerate them, and also reducing the inflammatory load from inflammatory foods. Diversity and repletion are what win almost every single time. Third is making sure you have nutrient sufficiency. Your gut barrier is built from real materials, amino acids like glutamine, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin D, and polyphenols all send signals of integrity to the gut. So quality protein and colorful produce become one of the best healing kits. And lastly is a focus on the environmental irritants. This is where a lot of people get stuck. Regular NSAID usage for pain management, alcohol, ultra-processed foods, and also sleep deprivation. Each of these directly weakens the intestinal barrier. It's important to remove these environmental factors before adding anything new. And by the way, if you're in Texas, California, or Florida and you'd like my eyes on your case, I offer a free health mystery map call. The link is in the description below. Now, even when somebody addresses the irritants or builds real meals and supports their gut microbiome, some people still react to everything they eat. And that's real. They feel inflamed no matter what. This is when we start to look at other chemistry, like histamine or mast cell activation. Sometimes the issue isn't the barrier itself, but it's the immune systems living within the barrier. So if you've tried everything and you're still experiencing it, check out this next video where I go over the histamine connection, where most practitioners miss what might be going on underneath, and how to understand what your body is actually trying to signal. I'm Dr. Kenny, Root Cause Health Detective. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.